Cash, banks, power, control. What do these words all have in common? They're the opposite of what cryptocurrency stands to be. To understand how this came to be, we need to take you all the way back in time to 1983 at the University of California. A man by the name of David Schwam is writing a paper on electronic cash. His concept included a cryptocurrency that would be transferred between individuals safely and privately. He then went on to invent a blinding formula which would be used to encrypt information between individuals. This was called blinded cash, which allowed for the transfer between individuals, bearing a signature of authenticity and the ability to become untraceable. David Schwam then put this concept to use in 1989 when he founded DigiCash, which had a new project called eCash. eCash was based upon papers written by Schwam. Unfortunately, DigiCash went bankrupt in 1998, and subsequently eCash wasn't used anymore. However, it did set up the foundations of cryptocurrency in the future. While DigiCash was going under, there were other competitors joining the market, most notably BitGold and B-Money. Both of these early cryptocurrencies included concepts which would eventually lead to the creation of Bitcoin. Both were forms of electronic cash which valued the decentralization of currency. Unfortunately, they couldn't quite nail down the concept and therefore have both been rendered obsolete. However, while these cryptocurrencies were being developed, there was also a key piece to the puzzle of Bitcoin which was being developed back in 1997. This concept was called proof of work and comes in the form of a concept called hash cash. A man by the name of Adam Back had written a paper which would include the model of proof of work, a decentralized consensus which requires members of a network to solve mathematical puzzles to prevent the security breach in a network. Hashcash actually used proof of work to limit email spam in a person's inbox, and can be used to stop DDoS attacks on different networks. Hashcash can still be used today but never developed into a cryptocurrency. However, in 2008, a massive event happened across the world, and this was the 2008 financial crash. With this, we saw the crash of the global economy where institutions borrowed way too much money and had to start paying their loans back. House prices dropped and the bubble burst, which led to the banks cutting lending even further. This event then inspired one man to create his own cryptocurrency, which would protect people against the inflation which came along throughout the late 2000s. This currency would be called Bitcoin, and was created by an anonymous creator who went by the name Satoshi Nakamoto. Bitcoin's white paper outlined the need for secure, scalable, and decentralized currency, which nobody would have control over and could be used as a hedge against inflation. For example, in many unstable economies, the currency tends to become worth less as time goes on. This happened in Germany around the time of World War II, where the currency became so worthless that people had to stack notes into a wheelbarrow just to pay for bread. This type of inflation is called hyperinflation, and at some point it can't be stopped. However, if you converted your money into Bitcoin before this inflation happened, then it would change the price relative to the price of your currency. Then you would be able to retain your wealth and you wouldn't be hit by this hyperinflation. This is one of the main purposes of Bitcoin. In 2009, Satoshi started Bitcoin, and at this time it had very few users but was mainly cryptocurrency developers who used it. Then as time went on, people started to adopt the technology, and in 2010 the first real-world transaction was processed on the blockchain. This was to buy a pizza and it cost the buyer 10,000 Bitcoin, which at the time wasn't worth much, but 10 years down the line it'd be worth over $300 million. From 2009 to 2015, the price of one Bitcoin went from 40 cents per coin all the way up to around $400 per coin, which by any means is a massive amount of growth given the time frame. However, this would be nothing compared to what the future would hold. During the late 2000s to early 2010s, there were many other cryptocurrencies being developed. But in 2015, a man by the name of Vitalik Buterin had a vision for a new coin that he would go on to create. He was previously writing articles for Bitcoin magazine and first started his vision in 2013 for a coin he named Ethereum. Now, many people ask what the point of another cryptocurrency is if you already have Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin has limited functionality overall, but the things it can do, it does really well. Ethereum, on the other hand, has major functionality, but doesn't do everything perfectly. It's like a jack of all trades. Ethereum officially launched in 2015 and gained a fair amount of adoption early on. It rose from under $1 up to $10 per coin in the first year of launch. But in the next 2 years after the release of Ethereum, there would be an event that would completely change the space. In 2017, the new year started and the price of Bitcoin was just a little under $1,000 per coin. However, as the months went on into 2017, the price of Bitcoin started rising. The big reason was that Bitcoin supply was being limited as it had just had a reward halving at the end of 2016. This scarcity brought in retail investors who saw the opportunity that Bitcoin holds. By mid-2017, the price had doubled and this interested more people to start buying into the coin. Then in the months that followed, we saw an explosion of the crypto market with Bitcoin hitting an all-time high of over $20,000 per coin and Ethereum hitting an all-time high of $1,500 per coin. This bull run would start to decline into 2018, where the market bottomed out and the price of Bitcoin stayed around the $5,000 range for a while. This bull run would also eliminate all the useless cryptocurrencies which had been created and allowed for the best ones to gain price and dominance in the market. After the 2017 bull run, Bitcoin and Ethereum cemented their place in the cryptocurrency market. However, there were other coins which started to show promise in the space, and one of the biggest innovations that came through were stablecoins. These coins were linked and backed by actual currency. It was a way to bring fiat currency into the crypto markets. These coins would allow for the trading of Bitcoin or Ethereum into currencies around the world. Most notably, these stablecoins were USDT and USDC, which were stablecoins which acted as dollars in the market. These two coins would eventually sit at 3rd and 4th place by market cap among all cryptocurrencies. However, this would take some time. So through 2018, 2019 and 2020, all cryptocurrencies experienced a crypto winter. This was where prices of crypto are low and there wasn't much profit to be made. However, in this time, there were a lot of new developments being made in the crypto space, which would come to bear fruits down the line in 2021. However, before that, it must be noted that Bitcoin had another halving in late 2020, just as they did in 2016 before the massive bull run in 2017. And it would seem history was about to repeat itself. After the halving of Bitcoin, the supply reward decreased further and there was less Bitcoin available on the market. Subsequently, this would start to drive the price upwards. Now, while the price of Bitcoin was slowly rising in late 2020, the world would also be given a lot of money from governments to fund their lives while their countries were shut down. This meant that a lot of people had spare money left over which they could spend on investments. And spend they did. Going into early 2021, the money started to flow massively into the whole crypto market. An estimated $2.3 trillion was added to the market. Bitcoin hit a new all-time high of around $60,000. However, a lot of coins did more than that and would take people from poor to millionaires overnight. Dogecoin, Solana, Cardano, and many others were making people filthy rich. Everything even remotely connected to the crypto world would see gains. Metaverses saw a huge adoption and so did the coins that they run off. Coins like Sandbox and Decentraland had upwards of 1,000% increase in price. Crypto exchanges made billions in trading fees, and these crypto exchanges also had their own native coins, which benefited from the increased trading. Huge adoption came from mainstream industries like banks, countries, and Fortune 500 businesses, which all started to hold cryptocurrency on their books. The biggest investment came from Elon Musk and Tesla as they invested $1 billion into Bitcoin, which they still hold today. Eventually, like any other market, it had to fall from the heights it reached. That brings us to the present day where the market has slumped into another crypto winter. Bitcoin and other coins dropped over 70%. Ethereum had their long-awaited merge earlier this year, which saw the coin switch from mining to staking. We briefly saw a spike due to this, but wasn't notable enough. The one good thing to come out of this was that the price of all these cryptos are very low right now, and it's probably a good time to start buying in. The industry as a whole hasn't fallen apart and many people are still bullish, but the major adoption has left, and this is how all markets tend to flow. The next few years will see prices at lows for a while, but there will eventually come a time when the next bull run will happen. The next bull run is something that will come in the future, but the time it happens will be harder to pinpoint. If we look back at history, the two previous mentioned bull runs happened within a year after the halving of Bitcoin. The halving of Bitcoin reduces the supply hitting the market, and subsequently the demand goes up and the cost to mine one Bitcoin doubles. This means that if miners keep mining, they need more incentive. This comes in the form of Bitcoin's price going up. With this knowledge, it would make sense that the next bull run would happen after the next Bitcoin halving, which is in 2024. Therefore, the next bull run should happen in 2025. But obviously nobody can really tell when the next bull run will happen. This next run could also be the catalyst for the flipping in of Ethereum over Bitcoin. This is where Ethereum takes over Bitcoin by market cap. At present time, Ethereum holds around 18% of the whole market, and Bitcoin holds around 40%. So Ethereum has to double their market cap without Bitcoin not increasing in the future. This probably isn't likely, but if Bitcoin falls off, then the possibility is there. After this next bull run, I don't think we'll see much more massive price spikes because I think cryptocurrency will start to settle to their respective prices. Now, looking very far into the future, we'll probably see a very different landscape compared to today. I think we'll see a lot of central bank digital currencies as they have started to implement these already. Whether you like it or not, they will be using them. I also think we'll see large metaverses which everyone in the space will start to use in their day-to-day. This could be in the form of game metaverses or in social metaverses. I think the big coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Monero, and Tether will still be around, and they'll most likely have a lot more dominance over the other coins by market cap. My most hopeful coins for the future are Cardano and Fluxcoin. These are relatively new coins but show so much potential to create a name for themselves in the market. Overall, cryptocurrency is here to stay and we'll see more adoption as time goes on. If you enjoyed the video, then hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content. Don't forget to leave a comment below your thoughts on cryptocurrency for the future.